Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you're new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Entitlement. Entitlement is nothing. It's a way of authorization to an application. If you want to access any particular application when it comes to real-time project or any application in your day-to-day activities like WhatsApp, if you are going to use from the backend, application team is going to assign some entitlement. Just for your understand I'm explaining. If you want to use Gmail, then the moment the user is going to create from the backend, they are going to add some entitlement or some groups. Application team is responsible for this entitlement creation. They will take care of each and everything. We can import this entitlement into SailPoint and we can assign to the users. Our job as a SailPoint administrator or as a SailPoint person, we are responsible to manage, which means we are going to configure, we are going to assign to the users. In some case, if application team is couldn't create or they face any issue, then we can create. Let's learn two things. One, how we can import those entitlement which is maintained by application team into SailPoint. Second, how we can create entitlement in SailPoint. Is that clear, guys? Entitlement. First, we will learn how we can import from application team. Application team has maintained those entitlement in a particular server, particular place. They have maintained those access levels. Let's talk about this one. It's the same way of we have imported identities, right? The same way. They have maintained some feed file. Let me open one feed file. They have maintained one feed file where all entitlement details are there. This application attribute value, these are the attribute. All these names they have mentioned. Attribute name they have mentioned. Attribute value they have mentioned. Attribute value means entitlement name they have mentioned. Display name, how it's going to look like for the end user. Who is going to be the owner for this entitlement? They have maintained this feed file in somewhere. After that, if you want to import this feed file, just go to application. For which application you are going to import those entitlements. Let's talk about this. Drive Google, open. Just go configuration, go to configuration page. Here you can check this. Object type is account, which means object. Type account means this account is responsible for importing all the identities. You can add one more object type for groups. Just click on add object type. As of now, we have only object type account. Now I'm going to create one object type. Just click on that. You can mention as group. Click. It will be populate. It will be visible. You can check. Previously we had only one account. Now we have one group. In this group page, the same what you have done for accounting, identities. The same you can mention. The file path. You can mention file encoding millimeter type. Is it going to be comma or pipeline? You can mention the same. ILS column header, the first line. If you are going to enable this one, then it will consider as a call attribute, or else it will consider as an identity or entitlement. You have to mention the same. Just go to schema page. Here also one more object that has been added, like group. From here, aggregation type is going to be group. If you are going to select alert, which means we have to create alert task. As of now, we are going to deal with groups, which mean entitlements. Select group and you have to create group task. The moment you are going to click on the Discover Schema attribute, all the attributes will be populated from the feed file. If you want to add any new attributes separately, you can click on that or you can delete. Already we have application called PeopleSoft where I have configured the scene. Just go to configuration page. I have already added one object type called group. You can check. I have given the path. I have given the delimiter type. Selected a file has column header. Just go to schema. There also already one object type has been added. From this page, all attributes value has been populated when the moment I have to look down the Discover Schema attribute. Let me open the feed file which is maintained by application team. These are the attributes like application attribute value, display, name, owner, requestable. All these attribute value has been populated here. Application attribute value, display name. I have given the identity attribute and display attribute as value. Value is the attribute whenever you are going to create any entitlement. You have to provide entitlement name. I'll explain after 5-10 minutes when the entitlement creation will come. The simple, just you have to add one more object type and just click on the Discover Schema attributes. It will be popular here. From the using this attribute, you can set this identity attribute and display attribute value. That's just save after that. Go to task. We have defined all the configuration in the applications. Application team maintain the feed file separately. We need to import. We are going to create one more task called account group aggregation, not account aggregation. Just click on the account group aggregation task. Provide the application name like PeopleSoft Group Aggregation. Because we are going to import entitlements. These are the things we will learn later. We have a separate topic for that. Now I'm going to select which application. I'm going to select, I couldn't select a PeopleSoft. No, it's there. PeopleSoft is there. Just save and execute. Go to task results. Select the PeopleSoft Group Aggregation. Just now we have executed. Now you can check. Applications can PeopleSoft. Groups can 24 groups were there. In that 6 groups has been created. 18 groups has been created. 6 groups has been updated. Now you can go ahead and you can check the entitlement page. Entitlement catalog. Now you will be able to see all PeopleSoft. Click on the advanced search. Select particular application. These are the entitlement has been created. I mean has been imported from that feed file. I'll come to your question. Your question. Hi, Rex. Entitlement. We did the group aggregation. What I want, we used, the delimiter file for the application for bringing the groups in for the application, right? But my question is practical scenarios. For example, I'm just taking a very vague example. And for example, if we have some application like ServiceNow, let's say ServiceNow, and ServiceNow would have its own entitlements, right? Right. How is everything operated in the form of groups? Or can we import some other kind of entitlements as well, which are not group types, which can be of something else? I mean, I don't know. The moment you said groups means, are you talking about task add object, type groups, or you're talking about particular attribute? My only concern is if we have some other kind of application which is managing accesses in the form of some kind of. Maybe in ServiceNow there would be some kind of rules and something, right, which are managing accesses. In that scenario, you're going to create group only. Add object type will be group and you're going to import those entitlement via group aggregation only. Let's talk about something. Vinay, go ahead. For all applications, it means be it any application, we map it with groups for the accesses. Right. For each and every application in real-time project for client, I have seen there will be two tasks. One will be account aggregation, one will be account group aggregation. Account aggregation task is responsible for aggregate all the identities, to import all the identities. Account group aggregation is responsible for to import all entitlements. In SailPoint, we are going to consider them as an entitlement, but when from application team, it could be anything. When it comes to from SailPoint perspective, we are going to call them as entitlement. Is it clear? This is how we are going to import all the entitlements. And to add one more point, in SailPoint you are allowed to request either entitlement or roles. Apart from that, you won't be able to request anything. We have some customization we will talk about later. If you want to request any other thing like capabilities, we can do that using other connector. Let's talk about later. Guys, just make a note if you want to learn these things. I'll cover these things like loopback connector. Have loopback connector. If you are going to install those loopback connector, using that you can request capabilities as well. Have learned from the real-time project only. We will talk about later if time permits. If you want, you can make a note. I'll explain whenever time goes. Let's talk about entitlement creation. If application team is facing they couldn't create some entitlement, in that scenario, they will raise ticket and we are going to create. Just go to entitlement catalog. Guys, just for quick check, are you able to see this icon add new entitlement? We have imported that file, right? Import hyphen. After that, you will be able to see this icon. Whenever you get a requirement to create any entitlement, just click on add new entitlement. In the ticket itself, they will be mentioning which application. You can select the same particular application. You can select PeopleSoft. From here, type is going to be entitlement. I have selected entitlement attribute. Which attribute? I have already shown this employee ID and manager. We can set from application schema. The moment you are going to select any attribute and attribute as entitlement, it will be popular here. You can select attribute. No need to worry about this type and attribute because application team will be provided in the ticket. Just you have to select the right name. Value, always it's going to be entitlement name. Let me add in the lowercase entitlement name. But display name, I'm going to be in the proper case. It will be visible in the proper case for the back end user. This entitlement, we can make them as requestable, which means it will be visible in the access request page. End user can select this entitlement and they can submit. Description has to be proper. Application team will be provided. We can do the same copy paste. And owner, who is going to be the owner for this entitlement? You can select and just say that's it. This is how you are going to create an entitlement. Now we have created one entitlement. Using this advanced search, you can easily search. That's it. The entitlement name. This is the one we have created now. Nassim Johnson is the owner. Let's go ahead, access request page. Manage user access page. Just click on that. Let me try to submit this access request. Here, you won't be able to see the entitlement name. It won't be visible. Do you have any idea why? Entitlement which we created, entitlement name. It's not possible. It's not visible. No search results. And yeah, because whenever we are going to create any entitlement, we need to run one more task called full text index refresh. Need to run, just go to task, run the full text index refresh. This is the task you have to execute. Which means the task is responsible to refresh all the entitlement. Now you can go ahead and click on the search. It will be visible. Entitlement name. Owner's Nazim Johnson. You should know whenever you are going to create any entitlement, you have to run the particular task name called full text index refresh. You can select, the end user can select this entitlement and they can submit the access request. Then let's talk about role. Already I have told in SailPoint every functionality name is going to be considered as object. Entitlement is an object, role is an object, identity is an object, application is an object. Everything. We are going to consider them as an object. Just remember that one thing. When it comes to entitlement from the backend, how you are going to search. Backend means from object browser page. And yeah, if you are going to search with entitlement, it won't be visible. For entitlement, we are going to call them as managed attribute. Managed attribute means entitlement. We have created one entitlement manually. You can search with the entitlement. I mean, you are not. You won't be able to search with name. You have to search with ID or attribute. You can get the ID from here, from this URL. From this URL, you can get the ID name. Or else you can use this any other attribute you can use particularly. I couldn't remember, but you can search. Entitlement means from the backend, you are going to call them as managed attribute. Let me add here. From object browser, you can search all the objects, identity application, anything using this ID value. Just remember, this is the ID equal ID value. You can search. Or else you can search with the name as well. For roles, it's going to be bundled. It's not going to be roles. It will be bundled. Just remember. Let me add here. Role is nothing. It's a combination of entitlement. You can say we can group together all the entitlement and we can create a role. And we can create role. Combining any entitlement. Which means role can encapsulate other entitlements in that. If you have some 10 entitlements, if you want to assign to the user, in that scenario, you have to go to access request page. You have to select entitlement one by one like this. Just go to manage user access page. Select any identity. Go to particular application. PeopleSoft application. If you want to assign entitlements, then you have to select one by one manually. To avoid that, to make this process easier, if you want to select 10 entitlements, in that scenario, you can combine all 10 entitlements and you can create one role. That is the purpose of having role, which means it will provisioning task easier. That is, whenever someone is going to join the same thing, you have to assign and 10 entitlements. To avoid that, you can create one role and you can combine. You can submit. We have 4 type of role in SailPoint. Already we have discussed these things last class. I think business role, IT role. Apart from that organizational role, and here also we have entitlement. This entitlement we are not going to use. Again, real-time project, we are going to use these two things one day, business role and IT role. We are not going to use this entitlement section because the entitlement will be imported from the application team. Just for your reference, we will talk about what is business role, what is IT role, each and everything. Is it clear why we are going to create roles, why we are going to use roles to make the process easier? When it comes to provisioning, when it comes to certification validation, user validation, we are going to use roles because it simplifies the process. That is the reason. Again, just the same example I am giving. Let's consider all users should have access to 50 entitlements. Then they will perform their daily activities, day-to-day activities. In that scenario, you can create business role, IT role, and you can assign very easily, which means business people, whoever is responsible to submit access request. For them, it will be very helpful. As a certification person, certification owner, certifier. If you are a certifier, you are responsible to validate all your user access, which means we will learn later briefly about certification. Just make a note. When it comes to certification, it will simplify the process. These are the advantages of having roles. The same way you can say, let me make this point first thing, simplifies access request for end user. Second, you can say certification. We will learn about certification later. It simplifies the process there also. Because you have some 50 entitlements you want to validate, then you have to validate each and everything separately. But if you have created one role and you have combined all 50 entitlements into that, which means encapsulate into that, then we can validate very easily. He is a developer. He should have this developer access, which means developer role should have something like that. Similar to ABAC in IAM, something called ABAC is the attribute-based access control. Based on the policy like business role. For business role, only the people will be having accesses which are into that particular business. It's similar to that, but its ABAC is different. No. IBC and ABAC both are kind of opposite to each other but similar. And ABAC is between and ABAC is between. That's different and user certification is different. This right. Certification means user validation. We will talk about that later. It simplifies the process there also. Let me add the line. If you are going to implement roles in your project, apart from that, I can say code efficiency. If you are going to write any custom code for particular entitlement, in that scenario, you have to use any if condition. You have to mention the attribute name, right? Like managed attribute. From there, you have to mention something. To avoid that, to simplify there also, you can use roles. In that scenario, you have to mention only one role name. You are not supposed to add all 50 entitlements. No need to create list objects where you can add all those things. It simplifies the process there also. Code efficiency. Like that. These are the advantages of roles. As of now, I'm able to remember. We have 4 types of roles like business role, IT role. These two we are going to use in real-time scenarios. Organizational role entitlements. No role is nothing. It's an object. It's a bundle object. We can combine the role and we can combine all entitlement and we can create roles. Now let's take an example. We have some 5 applications. Let me open spreadsheet. It will be easier, I think. We have 5 applications like A, B, C, D, E. These are the application name. Whenever user is going to join, I have to provide these 5 applications, which means each and every time I have to add. For A application has some 75 entitlements I have to add. Entitlements of 5565. What do you think? Is it possible to provide these many entitlements selecting one by one manually? In that scenario, what I'll do, What usually people will do? We will create one IT role for particular application, particular job function, particular location. It could be anything based on something. They will decide and they will create. In that scenario, this 75 entitlements, I'm going to combine all together and I'll create one IT role. Not business role. You can combine all entitlements and you can create IT role. Not business role. You can combine all 50 entitlements and you can create one IT role. You can combine all 65 entitlements and you can create one IT role. It simplifies the process. These 5 entitlements you can assign. Instead of selecting one by one manually, you can select one IT role and you can submit the access request. To simplify the process more, you can do one thing. You can combine these IT roles and you can create one business role. One business role. This is the process. You can combine these entitlements and you can create one IT role. You can combine all IT role and you can create one business role. From access request page, just select the user. Just select only one business role and you can submit. The business role owner will be approving the request and the access will be added immediately. Just try to imagine in that scenario 75 entitlement, 55 entitlement. And then how many work items will be generated? How many approval has to be done? Has to be taken. How many? It's more of a process. In that scenario, role will be used very often. These are the definition of business role, IT role. One more time I'm explaining. You can combine all entitlement and you can create IT role. You can combine all IT role and you can create one business role. Which means why we are doing these things. To simplify the process. That's it. Let's get into the real-time one. How we can create, how we can combine. What are the difference? We will learn now. Right? Yeah. What do you mean by business role and IT role? It's nothing, just it's a type of role. Business role, IT role. It's a type of role. Its name is IT role, business role. Why we are going to use? Because we need to simplify the process when it comes to access provisioning, when it comes to certification, when you are going to write some custom code from the backend. You need to simplify the process. That is the reason we are going to have this type of roles. As I said already, you have these many applications. 5 applications. Whenever user is going to join, you have to provide. In that scenario, instead of selecting one by one entitlement manually, you can combine these entitlements and you can create an IT role. If you want to assign 10 IT role to the user to make more simplify the process, you can combine all IT role and you can create one business role. Business role. Is it clear? It's clear. And then more question. We are to create one role. The IT role means in business roles to approve, in admin, correct. Admin means IT role owner, business role owner, business role owner. Because we have an owner for business role, we have an owner for IT role, we have an owner for entitlement aspect. We are on an IT role. If you are going to select access request for IT role, then IT role owner will be responsible. We will create, I'll explain how to create, how to do those things from theoretical. I'm saying you understand. I am understand. Hi, I have one thing. Can you explain simple provisioning and how it can be related to role? You need access to some application. Let's save service now. Because you need access to service now. In that scenario, I'm going to select one role from access request page from here. I'll select the user. From this page, I'll click on the filter. I'll select the application name called ServiceNow. As of now, I don't have ServiceNow. I'm going to select Active Directory. You can select the application name or the entitlement or role will be populated this page directly. I can select one business role and I can submit. Is it clear? The moment I have assigned those role and it's get provision, which means user got all the entitlement right. All 50 entitlement will be added. The number could be anything. Whatever they have added in the IT role, it will be added to the user, which means he can access to the particular application. Now let's learn how to create those roles, how we can combine all those entitlements. To create roles, just look on the story for interrupting. Like, if I have to define provision in simple words, how can provision is like giving entitlements. And provision means providing access. Uh, just providing access to call as provision. You are going to provide some access to the identity. Really sorry, man. I couldn't get your question. Rakesh, what we're saying is, in essence, for the first time, you're going to create all the entitlements one by one. Then you're going to combine them into roles. Then you're going to combine the rules into business rules. Combine the entitlement into business rules, IT rules. Then you're going to combine the IT rules into business rules for the first time. Then subsequently, you're assigning it to the user. For the first time, you're going to create them manually. Even if it's going to be 75 entitlements, you're going to create them one by one for the first time, right? You mean to say first time, we are going to create all entitlements manually. We have to create. It could be manual or it could be via task aggregation, group aggregation. The entitlement will come to enter SailPoint. After that, you have to combine manually, right? First time you have to combine. After that, you can submit access request. Then let's talk about role creation. Whenever you need to create some roles, just click on the setup. Go to roles. Guys, this is basic. That's the reason I have explained. I took this much time to explain. Let's get it to real how we can create. Whenever you need to create any role, just click on the new role. Click on the roles. From this type, you can decide what is the type of role. It could be business, it could be IT, organizational role entitlement. I'll create all four and I'll explain. But in real time project, you are going to use business role and IT role. Let me create one by one and we will talk about inherited and provisioning policy. It's similar to the same one. Application, I have explained. Provisioning policies are different topic forms. Application creation also, I have explained. We will learn later. Is it safe from security point of view to assign one business role to 10 users? Because one business role will have 10 number of IT roles in it. Is it safe to assign one business role to all those 10 users at the same time? It is not from security perspective. I won't say not from it to simplify the process. To simplify the process. I mean, if we are trying to simplify the process, we have to manually assign each role into business role. Because we have to see what first time we have to do. This is all about the provisioning policy. We will later the provisioning policy. We'll talk about inherited roles and we have some more topics we will learn. Let me create all 4 roles first. After that, I will explain how we can inherit it, how we can combine those entitlements. Let's talk about that. This is Cloud Foundation. I'm going to create one business role first. Organizational role, each and everything. CF organizational role, you can provide the display name. Always just try to remember value and display value, name and display name. The difference is whatever things you are going to mention in the name, it should reflect. It's not going to reflect whenever end user is going to check. If I'm going to select any entitlement, the value is in lowercase. I forgot to tell you these things. To date, we have created one entitlement value I have given in the lowercase, but display name value I have given in the uppercase. As an end user, if I'm going to select anything, just the display name will be populated here. The value will be in the lowercase just for understand. Whatever display name you are going to provide, it will be populate here. It will be visible to the end user. It's not going to be the lowercase. Just remember. Here also, I'm going to mention the name here. The type is going to be organizational owner, who is going to be the owner for this role. Description. We have to briefly explain why we are going. If the moment I'm going to assign any type of role, what will happen? End user what he can access. We are going to mention very briefly in the description. Enable. Activity monitoring means if you are going to monitor these roles, you can enable. If you want to provision, provision means assigning this role to the user via policies or profiles. You can select this option. If you want to disable or enable, which means active, inactive, you can achieve this checkbox. I'll explain what is inherited. Let me create 4 roles. First, click on the submit. It will create. We have created an organizational role. See if organizational role. Let me add one more role type called business role. Now I'm going to create C of business role. Type is going to be business owner. SP admin is going to be the owner. If you want, you can select any other person. The same thing. Here when it comes, when I have selected business role, here something has been changed. How I'm going to assign this role via assignment rule. What is required roles? What is permitted role? What is inherited roles? We have 4 options. Now we have C of organizational role and C of business role. We have 2 type of roles. Let me add C of IT role. The type will be IT. If I'm going to select IT, it will be changed. Here permitted role we have inherited role, we have entitlements. We have created 3 roles. As I said already, we are not going to use entitlement. If you are going to select entitlement from this page, nothing will happen, which means entitlement should redirect to some particular application. Then only we can assign those entitlements. If I'm going to assign any entitlement, the user will be able to access some particular application. If I'm going to create any entitlement from here, there is no application. That's what I'm trying to say. It won't provide any access to the particular application. Let's talk about hinder return. What is that? Already we have three roles. I hear CF organizational role, CF business role, CF IT role. Now I'm going to hinder return IT role into business role. Let's open first IT role and I'll explain how we can combine all the entitlements. I've selected IT role. Just click on the edit role. The page will be populated here. And from here you can add all the entitlements. You can select that application, which application you are going to select. It will solve. From here also you can check the attribute. These attributes we can define from the application schema like employee ID and manager. Let me select from this page. You can add all the entitlements. Let me select other application Prism. From here I have groups attribute I have selected. Here I have three entitlements. I have two entitlements. You can add entitlements from different applications as well. This is the IT role. I can add multiple number of entitlements. And I can say the first thing is clear. Now I am going to assign this IT role into business role. How we can do that? Open the IT role. I am going to assign this IT role into business role. To do that, just click on the hint return roles. Modify inheritance from here. Select the business role which you have created. Add click save. First time it will be tricky. Just try to create the same new system and you will come to know. Now open the business role. It will be hint written already. As I said, you have to run that refresh task. Here you can check the business role. If you are going to expand the IT role which we have created, it will be inherited. The moment I am going to assign this business role, the user will get this IT role as well as the entitlement. These two entitlements the user will be getting. This is how we are going to create and we are going to use. I have created three types of roles. After that, I have selected IT role. I have combined all entitlements. If you want, you can just click on the IT role. You can select the direct entitlements I have selected. PeopleSoft. I have selected from two different applications. One is PeopleSoft and one is Prism. Is assigned this IT role into business role via that inheritance section, which means the business IT role has been combined into the business role. Simply, if I am going to assign this business role to user, will get IT role and he will get two entitlements. Using that entitlement, he can access to the particular application. He can access the two applications. One is PeopleSoft and one is Prism. Is it clear, guys? First time, it will be tricky. Just try to create the same environment, you will understand. For Like in real-time scenarios, how often we'll be using this role at all? How often do we get projects wherein we need to create roles like that? It depends upon your luck. If the project is not stabilized, it's in the initial process, then you are responsible to create if you are responsible to manage each and everything. Whatever we are discussing, definitely you are going to create these roles, IT role, business role, each and everything. If it's a stabilized project, then once in a while, like you will be getting a requirement to create K. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.